We are here for a lesson with Mary Magdalene on the Course in Miracles. Today we have lesson number 39. My holiness is my salvation. Welcome to everybody who is joining us. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? Like the text for which this workbook is written, the ideas which are used for these exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical playthings. We are dealing only in the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the cloud of complexity in which you think. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation which you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question. But do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs practice to gain what is already his. We've already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? Today's exercises will apply to you alone. Recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. As you apply these exercises to your own world, the whole world stands to benefit. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked, is being asked now, or will be asked in the future. Your holiness means the end of guilt, and thus the end of hell. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you, to whom your holiness belongs, be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be that he does not know his own Son? A full 5 minutes are urged for the 4 longer practice periods for today, and longer and more frequent practice sessions are encouraged. If you want to exceed the maximum requirements, more rather than longer sessions are recommended, although both are encouraged. Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. Then, with eyes closed, search out your unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear: uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful. And so it is from them that you need to be saved. Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercise. It is imperative for your own salvation that you see them differently, and it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision. Slowly, without conscious selection, and without undue emphasis on anyone in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your salvation. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way. My unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. You may find these sessions easier if you intersperse the applications with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself, slowly a few times. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and did not seem to be thinking of anything. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become much easier as your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible. Meanwhile, you should feel free to introduce variety into your application ideas, in whatever form appeals to you. Do not, however, change the idea itself in varying the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea must be stated so that its meaning remains that your holiness is your salvation. End each practice period by repeating the idea in its original form once more, adding, if guilt is hell, what is the opposite? In the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour, or more if possible, you may ask yourself this question. Repeat today's idea, or preferably both. If temptation arise, a particularly helpful form for the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this. Lesson 39. My holiness is my salvation. Let's see what Magdalene has to say to us today. Greetings, beloveds. My holiness is my salvation. Let us consider this. If what it is that you need to be saved from is a world that has been created where you see less than holiness within yourself and within others, then understand, dear ones, that by you fully opening your eyes, your heart, and your mind to your own holiness, it then extends that you will be able to see that same holiness in another. And it truly is what is going to save you. What you are being saved from, beloveds, is the mind that you have used that engages in battles, that holds resentments, that feels fear, that feels anger, that feels terror, that judges, that believes in loss, that believes in lack. And as you bring your holiness to each of these situations, to each of these thoughts, to each of these dynamics, to each of these relationships, you will indeed find that your holiness is what saves you and everything that you consider to be the world. Bring yourself to bear for these exercises, beloveds. Allow yourself the moment of experiencing your true essence, your holiness. For your holiness exists in all things, in all situations. Every aspect of you is holy, beloveds. You've merely forgotten. And we are here to remind you. When you bring your attention to your heart, when you allow yourself to love from the place of purity that exists within you and exists within all beings, you come to realize that there is a purity there. There is a grace. The moment of granting forgiveness, beloveds, not only to yourself, but to others, gives you a peace that indeed does pass all understanding. Your holiness is your salvation. For your holiness is the true essence of your beingness. For as you were created in the likeness and in the image of the Creator itself, you then imbue every aspect of divinity. You have a heart that is pure and tender and loving. Allow yourself to come to each situation and to realize that what will save you from the pain, what will save you from the conflict, lies within you. It is not outside of you. It is within you to mold and shape your very existence so that the experience that you have is one of love, is one of pleasure, and is one of joy. So bring yourselves to these lessons, beloveds, and allow them to be what helps you to transform the moment when you feel out of sorts, the moment when you feel that, something is off here, something is not quite right. I am not at peace. I do not feel whole. And in that moment, when you close your eyes and you take your breath and you breathe within to your heart, you find that moment of holiness. And it does indeed save you from the mind, the chatter, the feelings of resentment, the decisions and the plans that you wish to make the circumstances disappear. And what you come to realize, beloved ones, is that you have been the architect. You have been the director. You have indeed been the one that has created the situations within which you exist. And just as easily as you were able to create them, you may create something anew. You may bring forth love. You may bring forth happiness, and joy. It seems quite simple, does it not? However, when the ego has taken its stranglehold upon the mind and upon the heart, there are not feelings of love. There are feelings of revenge. There are feelings of escape. But the escape does not exist outside of you, beloveds. It does not exist in you running away from any particular problem. It exists in you going within and telling your truth to the world. And most importantly, it exists within, telling the truth to yourself. One moment, please. For as you come to see the truth of you, and as you come to accept every aspect of you, all the things that you like, all the things that you are, all the ways in which you think, you begin to get a glimmer of the truth. And you see that there is a majesty within you, a presence within you that has the best of intentions for yourself and all beings. Allow yourselves to live within that peace, beloveds. To know that all created beings, all aspects of existence, have the same heart, have the same love. Forgive swiftly and deeply and often. Forgive yourself for ever having forgotten the truth of you. Forgive yourself for having looked upon another and thought that they were against you. There is nothing that is against you, beloveds. All is for you. And all are indeed on the same pathway, back to source, back to love, back to life. So join your arms with another. Recognize that your holiness is indeed your salvation. And as you allow yourself to see the holiness of another, you will indeed come to realize that all that exists is the love that you hold within your heart for yourself and for others. Love yourself deeply, beloveds. Allow yourself the grace of self-love. Allow yourself the grace of self-acceptance. Come to see the magnificence that we see in you. As we approach, as we come to you with loving messages, as we come to you with loving guidance, allow yourselves to hear our words. Allow yourself to hear our guidance. For sometimes we have shortcuts for you. What would be seemingly the higher road, the swifter road. And if your journey is one in which you desire to continue to curse all creation, then that will be your journey. What is being offered, beloveds, is another way. Imagine if you blessed all, if you thanked all, and if you held gratitude in your heart, you would truly be able to see that your holiness is indeed your salvation. We love you and we bless you, and we will speak with you again. Greetings, beloved. Thank you all so much for being here. And I will see you again tomorrow. You're welcome, Marianne. Talk to you all later.